am so glad you guys are here to join me today. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about the free tools that I use to scale my bookkeeping business to hundreds of clients. So, if the thought of starting a bookkeeping business has been on your mind, and maybe you think that you need to invest in a lot of tools, you need to spend money on software, you need to buy expensive things to get started, then this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through exactly how I got started for free and how I use those same exact tools to scale to over 100 clients at one time. So 100 recurring clients. So if you guys are catching this live right now, if you guys could do me a huge favor, give me a like, give me a comment, say hello. I want to make sure that we've got all the tech working and we're streaming in all the right places. So if you guys can just comment, oh good, that would be awesome. Hi Sarah, welcome. So you guys should be able to see me right now. I know I normally don't do. Hi from Tucson, awesome. I normally don't do these ones. I normally use slides, but today I'm actually just going to talk you guys through some of this. And then what I'm going to do is jump into my screen and actually screen share some of these awesome tools that I've been using since day one in my business. So if that sounds good to you guys, give me a like, say hello, and we're going to jump right in. So for those of you guys who are new, I know that we've added a lot of people to our audience lately. My name is Robin Bucklew, but if you see me around Facebook using my personal profile, it says Jenny. That's just because Robin is my legal name. It's also my mother's name. So for those of you guys who know me, and now that includes all of you on this video, I do go by Jenny in my personal life. So I actually started my bookkeeping business back in 2018, and I started it as a freelancer. So I started my business while I was working full-time, and originally I just wanted to pay off some debt. So I started this thing on the side, was using skills that I already had. I'd already worked for a bookkeeping company. I already had a CPA. I already had an MBA. And I'd already taught accounting. So I was really, really qualified to take this online, but I didn't know what the heck I was doing when it came to actually running a business. And so that's the stuff we're going to talk about today, is all those little pieces that you may be missing. And if you're watching this and you don't have all that accounting and bookkeeping experience, that's totally fine, right? All of that is teachable. Like, you can learn all of the bookkeeping skills. You can learn them in so many ways. I have a program. You can learn them online. You can take classes, whatever. What we're going to talk about today is the stuff that they don't teach you in school. They don't teach you with your accounting degree, with your CPA license. These are things that I had to learn the hard way from starting a business. And so you guys get to skip those steps and just learn from me. Now, a few assumptions that I'm going to make before we get started. Number one, I'm assuming that all of you guys have access to a laptop or a computer and internet, right? In order to do this, you absolutely have to be able to, if we're going to do it virtually, you've got to be able to do this online. So if you've got a laptop and internet, great. My recommendation, I see this all the time. People say, well, what kind of laptop do I need? I'm not a tech expert, okay? The one thing I will say, the biggest mistake I made in purchasing a laptop is to not buy a laptop with the 10 key. So if you're going to start a bookkeeping business, at a bare minimum, make sure that your laptop has a 10 key, or buy one of those little like USB plug-in extensions. Because typing your numbers like this is awful. So get a 10 key on your laptop. The other assumption that I'm going to make for today's video is that you do already have the bookkeeping skills. So this lesson is not about actually how to do the bookkeeping. It's about assuming you already know all of that. And we want to start talking about the tech you need to onboard and serve your clients without dropping the ball. The other thing I'm going to assume is that to start your bookkeeping business, that you have a nice, quiet place to work. Now, that doesn't mean that you have rented office space. I never rented office space, you guys. I work from home. That's why I did this. And I didn't even always have an office. So I have found that I enjoy working more from a coffee shop or a restaurant sometimes. And then if I have to have meetings or video calls with my clients, then I could do that from my living room. I could do it from my office. Just made sure I had a nice background behind me, and that's it. So assuming we've got those items, the pillars that you absolutely have to have in place to build a successful bookkeeping business. And when I say business, I'm not going to differentiate between a business, a side hustle, whether you're freelancing, because quite honestly, it doesn't matter, right? No matter what you call it, whether it's full-time, whether it's part-time, the expectations that you will deliver for your clients are the same. I don't care if you're just doing it part-time, you still have to deliver the same quality and consistency of work as if this is your full-time gig, as if you're freelancing. Makes no difference. Ethically speaking, you should be delivering the same across the board, whether you have 1 client or 100, okay? All right, so our pillars for a successful bookkeeping business, of course, you have to know bookkeeping. So if you haven't done that, that's a step you're going to want to go back to. You have to learn how to use an accounting software. If we want to do this virtually, I'm going to talk about what some of the different options are for you, why I use what I use, and why I focus on just one software in my business. You also will need a consistent process to find and close clients, and then finally, consistent processes to onboard and serve. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, the tech that allowed me to onboard and serve all of these clients without dropping the ball. Now, what's really, really cool about this, about starting a bookkeeping business, is that we get to be profitable from the start. So I didn't spend a dime to start my business, with the exception of later. Did I go back and get my LLC? Yes, I did. Did I later add a website? Yes, I did. But what I'm going to talk about today is the software that we use to run this business can be completely free, which means that you don't have any costs that you have to be paying for as you take on clients. And then later, of course, we all add things later, right? We find tools that maybe there are some tools that are paid that make life a little easier. That's totally fine. But I want to talk to you guys about the ones I did for free. So tools that I use. Number 1, accounting software. So for me, I used QuickBooks Online. I really like QuickBooks Online. I also really hate QuickBooks Online sometimes, right? So I want to be really clear and transparent. It is not a perfect software, and it doesn't work for everyone. So if you choose to use Xero, that's great. If you choose to use Wave, if you use Sage or FreshBooks or Peachtree or whatever, that's fine. But in order to do a 100% virtual bookkeeping business, what I liked about QuickBooks Online is that the software was completely free for you as an accountant. So let me know in the chat, how many of you guys are already using QuickBooks Online, and how many of you guys have already set up your accountant account? Now, not only do you get your free accountant's account, which enables you to work with all of your different clients from inside one platform, it also lets you do your own bookkeeping in there. So what I like about that is I actually can track my own books for free. I get payroll for free, and then I don't have to log into all these different places. And I also, by the way, as just a good accounting control, you should never be using a client's login. I'm going to say it again. You should never be using a client's login. If you are going to do this as a business, you need to set up your accountant's account and get an accountant invitation from every single client, because that's just a good internal control. We should not have access to their actual account. So I'm going to jump in really quick here. Oh, perfect. So I've got, I'm using QBO and got my accountant's account. I'm using QBO and Wave. I need to get QuickBooks Online. Awesome. So again, I don't even go between QuickBooks Online and desktop, right? I picked a single platform to master. And that makes my life easier, because every single client I work with, I already know where I can find them. I don't have to remember, are they on desktop or are they online? Or were they on Xero and bounce back and forth? It streamlines my business. So I would not have been able to scale to over 100 clients if I was trying to do desktop and online and some other platforms. Absolutely not. So for me, I wanted to scale a huge business. That meant that I had to standardize exactly what I was offering, and I standardized the software I was using. And for those of you guys who are using QuickBooks already, you probably already know it changes all the time. So I can't even imagine trying to stay ahead of all the changes that QuickBooks makes, and all the changes that Xero makes, and all the changes that they make in Wave and Desktop and all those other softwares. That would be a complete nightmare for me. I build this business for freedom. I don't want to be wasting my time relearning things that I already know. So I focus on one platform. All right, let's see if I can share my screen with you guys here. So I'm just going to switch to this view, and I'm going to share my screen so that way I can show you guys QuickBooks Online. So I'm just going to pull this up on my phone to make sure that you guys are seeing my QuickBooks Online screen, because I only have one monitor open right now. So can you guys give me a quick comment? Let me know, are you seeing my QuickBooks Online screen? Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right. So if you're new to QuickBooks and you've just set up your accountant account, and if you don't know how to do that, comment and I will send you a cheat sheet on how to set up your QuickBooks Online accountant account. One of the things that I love about this, again, like I mentioned, you can toggle between all of your different clients from one platform, but also you guys can get certified. So if you come into Pro Advisor and then you go to training, this is where the QuickBooks Online certification prep is. And the one that you want to take is right here called QuickBooks Online Certification. Okay, so this is that QuickBooks Online Certification exam. The cool thing about doing this is that then you get some free advertising. So not only is QuickBooks free, they'll also put you in front of your ideal clients for free, which can be amazing. And it's a great way to generate some leads. Now, the other thing that we absolutely have to have, the other piece of tech that we absolutely have to have is a platform called Asana. That's what I use. You don't have to use Asana. You can use ClickUp. You can use, I don't know if Insightly is free anymore, but there's Trello, there's Monday, there's all these different ones. But what I love about Asana, it's free, and the free version was scalable for my business. So I'm going to hurry and share my screen here and share my Asana. All right, so hopefully you guys are looking inside. So this is what Asana looks like. And again, I did this completely for free. I set up a free account. The only caveat here is that if you're going to use Asana, I do recommend that you have a professional email account. What I mean by that is your email doesn't end in @gmail.com. It ends in, at whatever your URL is. So mine's, hello@robinbuckaloo.co. If you set up a professional email account and use that to set up your free Asana, you actually get more features than if you don't. So I don't know why they do that. It's kind of bizarre. Not my favorite feature about them that you have to have that set up first, but getting that professional inbox, I think it cost me $5 or $6 per month. Totally worth the investment if you know that you're going to do this, because switching later is a pain. Like switching all of your clients from emailing you at a Gmail account to a professional URL account. It's a lot of work sometimes getting them to switch and make those saves. So I recommend if you know you're going to do this for real, just get the email account up front. $5 or $6 per month, totally worth it. And then you get extra features. So when you're in Asana, and the reason why Asana is so important, this is how we keep from dropping the ball. This is how we keep track of every single task, every single thing that we need to do for our clients so that we don't miss anything. So I just threw together a quick sample here of what it looks like, but I want to show you guys just how easy it is to actually build out your Asana. And so, for example, the first thing that I do is that I do have a project set up for different categories in my business. So ongoing clients might be one. I might have prospective clients as another one. I might have sales and marketing. I might have admin, all these different areas that I use to run my business. So I set up those different projects here. And then what I'm going to do, so under ongoing clients, you guys see this little plus sign here? If I just click that, I can just create a blank project. So every client is a blank project. And let's just call this client sample number 2. Now, what's cool about Asana, I am a list person. How many of you guys are list persons? I love the check mark or scratching it out. I like to just see it in order. I'm not a board person. So those of you who like lists, you'll want to use this list setup. For those of you who like Trello, maybe you're more visual, maybe you like to see the board with the cards that you can move around, then you can use a board setup, and that works just as well. I'm not that kind of person. I love my list, so I'm going to do a list here, and then we're just going to start adding tasks. I'm going to click Go to Project. Now, adding tasks and sections is really easy. You can just click Add Task, and voila, you've created a task. You can then assign that to yourself or someone on your team. You can set in a due date on that. You can tell it if it repeats and how often. So maybe I want this to repeat monthly. You can put a description. So I always, in my description, I build out my Asana as if I'm going to hire a team. Okay, let me say it again. I build out my Asana as if every single task I'm creating is for someone else. So in the description, I get really specific about what my process is going to be, what the task is. I like to look at this as, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, could someone step in and take care of my clients? Okay, that's really important to me. Or if I have to transition my clients, I like to know exactly what I was doing. Even if I'm going to transition them to another bookkeeper, I want to make sure that the ball doesn't get dropped. Now, the other cool thing is we have subtasks as well. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll use the subtasks to break out specific steps of the project, especially if I have a team. I want to make sure that no steps get missed. I can do them as subtasks. So let me just show you really quick. Here's for my Asana example. I just typed up some common tasks in a Word doc, okay? I'm hitting Control-C to copy those tasks. If I go into Asana, I can easily come in here to add tasks. If I hit Control-V, see how it created a task for each of those? So easy. So if you are not tech savvy and you just want to type out like what you need to do in a Word document to get started, you can copy and paste and then come in and update. You can do the same thing with the subtasks. So see, I've clicked on subtask here. If I hit Control-V, see how it pasted each of them as a subtask. Really, really simple and straightforward. So for my business, when I bring on clients, I focused on having a standard offer, which means that no matter who the client is, there's a certain set of core tasks that I'm going to do for that client. I might come in here and modify a few things. I might, in the description, note anything that's special or different about this client, how they deviate from the process. But because I do the same things over and over and over again for my clients, it's easy to make a task template and then easily import it right into Asana. So yes, this is manual, right? There are platforms like Honeybook where you can, and Dubsado and is it 99 Hats, something like that. There's all these platforms where you can automate the heck out of this system. But if I'm being honest with you guys, is that necessarily worth your money when you're just getting started? Probably not, right? I like Asana because first of all, I only took on 3 to 4 clients per month, typically. That was a normal month. When I was first building my business and going crazy and saying, I'm quitting my job, I need to get as many clients as I can, there were 2 separate months that I took on 14 clients each of those months. And that was crazy. That was a lot. But I still was able to do it using this process, and it wasn't overwhelming because it's so quick and easy to use. So yes, there are other tools that are more automated. You can get fancy with it and connect, Zapier and have it create certain folders and all these things, but you don't have to do that, right? I like the free way. It worked for me. Once my business stabilized, I still didn't see any reason to upgrade to a paid version because by that point, I'm bringing on 3 to 4 clients per month. This is so simple. And of course, by that point, I had a team and I delegated the onboarding process, onboarding my clients, to a team member. So let me know if you guys have any questions as we're going through Asana, if there's anything you want to see. Now, if I were to click on board, by the way, so here's what the board would look like. So for example, if I was using a board, I might have onboarding tasks, and then maybe over here I'd have weekly tasks. Maybe I'd have month-end tasks. And then you can actually drag and drop these tasks in between the different sections as you'd like. Again, just another way to view things if you don't like the list. I'm a big list person, so this is what works for me. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to jump in the chat really quick just to make sure I'm not missing anything in here. Awesome. Oh, perfect. Someone says, I just set up my Asana. What does Asana do? So Asana is a task manager. I probably got that now that we just went through it, but it's so you guys aren't keeping, paper lists of what you need to do for your clients. Like, how many of you guys are bookkeepers and you've got like Post-it notes on the walls and on your screen? You've got lists, and that's how you go to bed terrified, right? Not having a system like Asana is how you go to bed with anxiety and wake up in the middle of the night going, oh my gosh, did I forget something? Did I forget to run that payroll? Did I forget to file that form? Did I forget to send my client their reports, right? That's how that happens. If you have Asana, the nice thing is before bed, I could just open my Asana and I would check what I had to do that day or what I'd already done that day, check what was upcoming the next morning, and just let out a breath and go, okay, I've got this under control. Everything's going to be okay. It's all taken care of and planned out. I know exactly what's coming. So that's part of why I absolutely, absolutely love using Asana. Could not have scaled my business without it. Okay. So then the other tool that I use for free that I 100% absolutely recommend to every single person, even if you're not a bookkeeper, like just in general, having this in my life is amazing. So I'm going to share and show you guys inside of Lastpass now. And Lastpass is for password storage. So hopefully you guys are able to see my Lastpass screen. Obviously, I've opened it up to a generic spot so that way you guys don't see the actual client passwords or any of my personal passwords. But LastPass is super simple. It's a secure way to store your passwords. So when I first started working for a bookkeeping firm, they were keeping their passwords for all their clients in an Excel sheet. And they were a little bit naughty too. They didn't just get view-only bank access. So even scarier, right? We have actual logins to people's bank accounts in an Excel sheet that gets passed around to the team. Well, that's a nightmare, you guys, because maybe someone's editing the Excel sheet and you need to get in it, or maybe someone didn't update the password in the Excel sheet and now you don't even have the password you need, or maybe you can't find the Excel sheet or it gets corrupted. Absolutely awful. So enter LastPass. This is how you are going to securely store all of your passwords. And I just wanted to show you guys the structure that I use a little bit because it can get really messy even in here if you don't keep it organized. So here's an example. I clicked on the plus sign, I click on password, and if I have a new client, I'm going to put in the URL that I need. So whether that's Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, it could be their Shopify, whatever it is, you put in the URL here. In the name, always put your client's name. So in the beginning, before I had a ton of clients, I'd put in like Shopify login. Well, when you have 4 clients with Shopify login, you don't know which one's which. So this should always be the client name. For the folder, what you're going to do is you're going to select your client's folder. So I actually make a folder for each client name, and I save that folder as a sub-account under client passwords. So that's the organization step that I would always do. And part of the reason why, again, I look at this as how do I do this so I can scale my team? Well, by having a separate folder just for client passwords and then my clients underneath that, then I'm able to add a team member to just this folder. And the reason that's important is because I use LastPass to store all the passwords for my firm and my personal ones. And so I don't want to give that to my team, right? I just want to give them the client folder so they can see exactly what they need to see. Now, what else is cool about this is to maintain security. My team couldn't actually see the passwords. All right. So what's cool about this is you can share it with someone. Here's a little person icon here. You can share it with someone and they can use it. So what that means is when they go to, say, wellsfargo.com, it'll pop up with, hey, client name this, but they won't see what the password is. It will just put in the password and just like this, it'll be the little dots so they can't see it. And then they can click to use it. So the cool thing is every time I have to update the password, I just update it here in LastPass. When I do update it, like say on Wells Fargo, it'll automatically ask me, hey, update LastPass. A little reminder will come up and I'll say yes. So that way we're always working with the most current passwords. The other thing that's cool, sometimes we can't give you only access for our clients, right? Some banks are difficult to work with. Some clients just can't get it set up. Maybe it's just not an option. So very occasionally, I might have a client who they have their own, I'll have them set up their own LastPass account. I'll have them put their password, their login information in there, and then they can share it with me. So that way, again, I can just use it, but I can't see it. So there's no information that I can take and leave with. And the nice thing about that, the way it's a little more secure, is that if anything happens, if we part ways, I'm no longer their bookkeeper, all they have to do is remove my access in LastPass and unshare it. They don't have to go into their bank and change all their passwords or do anything like that. They just have to remove the shared password in LastPass. So these are the tools that I would 100% recommend if you're getting started. And again, these were totally free. These are tools that were a lifesaver in my business. Sarah says, I love LastPass for all passwords. It's so easy to share. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and Sarah also says, Asana is the only way I manage my client and team. Otherwise, there'd be chaos. Yes, that's what we want to prevent. So we're not here to build a job, right? We are here to build a freedom business. At least I was. I'm like, I wanted to make a 6-figure income working part-time hours. And you can't do that without the right systems and processes in place to enable you to shut off work when you leave. And I know a lot of you guys, even if you're working as a bookkeeper, sometimes you still go home with that, right? You still don't shut off work when you leave. Asana helps me shut off work when I leave. Having a team helps me shut off work when I leave and sort of set some boundaries. So if you guys found this helpful, what I'd like to do is put together, perfect. Someone says, I actually use 1Password, same concept though. Yes, I'm sure there are absolutely other alternatives. It's just that when I got started, I didn't know these things were out there, right? I was building it all from scratch and putting things together. I tried a ton of different platforms. The reason that I like the ones I've chosen is that they go well together. So like Asana integrates with my email account, which integrates with my time tracker. So all of that is just seamless, and that's awesome. Now, of course, there are still certain pieces that are not automated. Like when I send a proposal, I'm still sending out the proposal. The client still has to sign it and send it back. And then I'm going into Asana once I have a signed proposal and setting up my tasks. So yes, it's not a perfect system. It's not like, oh, everything is completely automated, but I don't even know how much, if I were to look back and be like, okay, well, if I'd been paying for these other apps this whole time, would it have been worth it? I'm not sure. When I look at, it takes me 15 minutes to onboard a client using Asana, even though it's manual. For me, that was totally worth it, especially like getting started, especially considering that you only onboard so many per month once you guys get going. So what questions do you guys have for me? I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the chat if this is helpful for you guys. And if you like this kind of content, do me a huge favor. Make sure that you like my page. So the page is Robin Buckaloo, which is my name. If you guys like the page, I have a whole series of trainings that I'm getting on there right now, trying to get these all out to you guys before I get too pregnant. I'm at 7 months right now. I hear I'm about to get really tired. So I've got back-to-back live scheduled for you guys to just make sure that I'm getting you all this information out there. I know that it's crazy times in the world right now. I want to do what I can to help you guys, whether you're in my program or not. Want to help you guys be the best bookkeepers that you can possibly be and take care of your clients. So Brenda says, question, have you done a video on how to hire team members and also not lose clients to those team members? Oh, yes. So good question, Brenda. So actually back in October, I think, I did a VIP coaching package, and I took 10 of my 60-day bookkeeper students, and I moved them into a VIP program, just those 10 people. Or it might have been 9. Anyways, small group of people, so really intimate. And we actually went through, and I will tell you guys, some of the information I just gave you on this video is the same stuff that I taught them in that. It was just that we were more hands-on and making sure that they actually implemented Asana, got in the habit of using Asana every single day. And then I talked about so the way I structure my business, so that way people can't walk away with it, is that I would hire people. So for example, I hired an admin assistant. My admin assistant was the point of contact for my clients. So either me or my admin. If I ever hire bookkeepers, they are never allowed to talk to my clients. So that might sound weird to you guys, but when you have the right workflows and processes, you can set yourself up that way. And obviously, you're going to cover yourself with a non-disclosure and a non-compete agreement. But really, the key thing here was that my clients loved my admin, but they knew they couldn't hire her as their bookkeeper because she didn't know bookkeeping. She knew enough from my processes to be able to support the team and to be able to answer client questions and make sure that the wheels didn't fall off the bus, but she wouldn't have been able to walk off with them. And so it was a great system. I absolutely highly recommend it. And I taught it in that VIP program. And then that's something that I'm actually kind of looking at how to integrate that in for my 60-day bookkeeper students, how to bring over the trainings from that without overwhelming people who are new and not ready to hire yet. But yeah, so Brenda, if you have more questions, post those in the private student group too, and I can share some of those resources in there. But that's the key thing. If you don't want your team to walk away with your clients, structure your organization in such a way that your clients know they are your client, right? They need to know that they are your client and that you have team members who are taking over various pieces, but they never, ever, ever talked to my bookkeepers directly. All right, what other questions? Do we have any other questions, you guys, that you want to ask? I hope this was helpful. Do me a favor if you guys would like. This is just a quick tip, by the way. So how many of you guys struggle with doing the hard things? Like, for example, you might not be able to tell, but I actually don't love going live. I get really anxious about having to go live, having to be on camera, like doing my hair, my makeup, and just the whole shebang, having something on my calendar. And so what I do to make sure that I get it done, you guys, is I create those events and I schedule it. Like I put it out there. So Brenda says me. So if you guys are struggling with getting started, that's just a quick tip for you guys that I recommend is put something out there. So if you're trying to start your business and you're afraid, you're dragging your feet, you can't figure out like, how do I get myself to actually do this? post something, right? Create some accountability for yourself by putting something out there. And you don't have to worry about it being perfect. You don't have to worry about everything being absolutely ready. And the way that I was getting to that, by the way, if you're wondering, well, that was a tangent, is I want to put together a worksheet that ties in with this training that we just did today. So I haven't created it yet, right? But if you guys want it when it's ready, do me a favor, and I want you guys to comment in the chat. Just do like hashtag worksheet. Make it one word, because I will probably use ManyChat at some point to automate that, so that way in the future, whenever anyone watches the replay and comments worksheet, it'll send it automatically. So if you want a worksheet, and what I'm envisioning for this is talking about the tools I use, giving you guys some click-by-click, step-by-step instructions for how to implement them, giving you guys some of my best tips for why I use them. One of the questions I'm surprised I didn't see come up is, why do you use Asana and not the work feature inside of QuickBooks Online? So if you're wondering why, one, it's because Asana integrates with all of my other tools, whereas the work feature inside of QuickBooks would not. And number two is that even though I love and use QuickBooks, I am always skeptical. I don't trust anything. So for me, one, I don't want to be their guinea pig. I don't want to be using it and learning as I go while they're tweaking and changing and figuring out all the bugs, right? I don't want to do that. Number two is it's just not as flexible, right? So if I'm using Asana, I can set up all these different team members and all these different subtasks and all these different systems right now that you can't necessarily do in work, right? So it's still going to have limited features compared to something like Asana, where this is all Asana does. Like, this is their focus. So obviously they're going to have better tools built in. Now, will QuickBooks eventually, do I think that they look and they see what other people are doing and they go, oh, that's a good feature, pull it in? Absolutely. So there's a chance that someday they might have everything you need. But for me personally, I love using Asana. I don't trust QuickBooks Work yet. I need something more flexible. I like to be able to set up my processes a certain way. And so that's why I use Asana instead. Rachel says, I need someone to help with my website. Can you refer me to your gal? So my gal is actually a dude. But yeah, so I do have someone that I use, and I actually had him build out a website template for my students because, man, you guys, building a website for me, that just was awful. I hate doing it. I even had a hard time like finding good examples of websites that I wanted to use and explaining to him what I wanted it to be able to do. So if you're a bookkeeper, you don't need a crazy complex website, right? Your website serves one goal, and that one goal is to get people to book a call with you. Okay, that's all it needs to do. They need to see it and they need to go, yep, I need that person to be my bookkeeper. How do I schedule a call? Have your calendar link on there. So you don't have to overcomplicate it, but I can share, Rachel, I can share with you the person that I used, or if you guys are a 6-day bookkeeper student, we use Wix because, again, you don't need it to be super crazy elaborate. Like WordPress can do all the things, but then it also can fall apart really easy and you have to pay someone to help you fix it, or at least I did. So I like Wix. I have templates that I have created for my students that they can just pull it in, change your branding, change your colors, change your text, and launch it and go. Wix also has their own templates you can use as well if you're not one of my students. But I will share with you, his name is Brian, but I can't remember his last name off the top of my head. So if I don't remember to comment back later, let me know and I can share with you exactly who I use. But yes, when I first started my business, I didn't pay for a website, you guys. I didn't need it. I absolutely didn't need it. So I used other platforms to land clients. And I think, how many of you guys would like it if I turn this into a part 2 and talk about the free tools that I use to land clients? So this lesson was all about the free tools for onboarding and actually serving your clients. But I also can talk to you guys about the free ways that I use to find clients as well. Because like I said, I did not spend money to start this business. I wanted to be profitable from day one, right? That's something unique that we can do with a bookkeeping business. We can be profitable from day one. And so if you guys want more, if you want to learn how to do that, let me know in the chat. If you'd like to see a part 2 on the free ways that I use to actually scale to 6 figures or find hundreds of clients, those tools that I use specifically for that, you guys let me know. So, oh, Brenda says, I would love that, especially learning about funnels. Yeah, funnels are addicting. I live in Meridian, Idaho. ClickFunnels is right down the road, but I don't actually use them anymore, but that's what got me started. So, all right, you guys, if we don't have any other questions, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. This has been awesome. And I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I have another live scheduled for tomorrow. I have live scheduled next week as well. So if you guys want to get a chance to view those, make sure that you like my page, and then the events, go to the events section on the page. The page is Robin Buckaloo. Make sure you're on there as well. That way you guys can see all the live content that we have coming up. I am so excited, you guys. I had a wonderful time hanging out with you. And as always, if you guys are watching this on the replay, comment, let me know you're watching it on the replay. Still ask your questions, and we'll be coming in. I've got a team member to help me now even. So we'll be coming in, trying to make sure we don't miss any of your comments or questions. So don't be afraid to ask later, even if you aren't catching this live. And for those of you who did catch it live, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys all on the next one.